What's going on, Detroit Lions fans? Welcome back in. Stephen Will, Detroit 313 on a Tuesday. I didn't realize it was Tuesday, Will, if I'm being honest with you. I thought it was like a Thursday. I don't know. My days are all off. But hammer that like and subscribe button. Helps us out a whole lot. You guys have been doing a fantastic job. It's truly appreciated. Will, back to the basics today with what we're talking about. What's going on?
Listen, the first thing that I want to talk about, Steve, is this. That's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about people getting strapped up. Tim 21 put something out. I think it was yesterday, but we put out a couple shows yesterday. We're talking about some other things. Don't want to ever skip by anything defensively. But TA, the game slowing down and him just doing this to everybody. Strapping everybody up. Yeah, I'm excited for it. The players, the coaches, fans that have been at practice have all been talking about TA and him taking a step forward. I told you guys he looks like almost like a safety now. He looks big and strong, and he's also fast and agile. He just looks like he does everything better. And I know I'm putting a lot of sauce on it, but I mean that. He looks like he's doing everything better than last season. I'm excited for him to take a step forward. Steve, how are you feeling about Tim 21 putting stuff out? Everything that we've heard leading up into the season. I'm not going to just say TA. I'll leave the question open to TA and the secondary going into the season.
Just talking about Terron Arnold, well, I don't think he deserved a lot of the criticism that he got last year. There were some people that were bashing him. I don't even know where it's coming from. I thought he played pretty damn good football as a rookie. I don't know personally, but I've always heard that the hardest position for a rookie to learn is cornerback or defensive back. And he went out there, and I thought he played pretty damn good. Now, he was a rookie. It showed at times, right? He got a little handsy a few times. He's a physical type of player. But I saw him getting some criticism last year, and I don't think it was very fair. So if we're talking taking a step up in my standards, Will, and I thought he already played good, and he's going to elevate from playing pretty good to playing pretty damn good, I'm excited. This whole secondary is loaded. I got some stuff we'll talk about with some comments Jared Goff made in an interview yesterday. But I think Terron Arnold, we've talked about him a few times this offseason, like putting out some of his stuff, his workouts he's doing, some of his one-on-one stuff where he's doing some drills and working out from home or with some former Bama teammates I've seen. I'm excited for him. Well, I think he's flying very under the radar because I think a lot of people are forgetting Terron Arnold's out there because he hasn't practiced or played that much this preseason.
Yeah, I got to contest a couple of things, though, Steve. So let's pump the brakes here. What are we doing? The hardest position to play is quarterback, without a doubt.
Is it?
Yeah,
is it
100%?
I mean, I'm not saying it's not a lot, and I've never played quarterback in the NFL. Well, trust me, unless you want to count like a Madden created player where I pretty much shined, it wasn't that hard.
Yeah, because you probably made your player 99s everything.
Listen, yeah, if you turn that difficulty down to like not rookie, but like one step above it, it's really more enjoyable for me. I can't be playing on that all pro or all Madden. Hell no, be winning games 3-0, not happening.
Yeah, I got to stand on quarterback is the hardest position to play on the football field. But corner is tough, especially with the new rules. The NFL wants to see points being scored. You're not allowed to touch these guys past 5 yards. It is a tough position. The receiver knows what he's doing. You got to react to it at the cornerback position. Yeah, I will say that it is quarterback, but corner is tough.
Did you see what Jared Goff had to say in an interview yesterday? He was talking about the defense. Yeah, he was talking about how the defense is giving him fits, and we've talked about this on and off throughout the last couple of weeks. You know, is the offense struggling or is the defense legit? And he was just talking about, you know, how the defense, especially the back half guys in the secondary, their communication has been just on point. They have had very few blown coverages, and he said that, you know, a couple of times when they had a blown coverage, we were in a play to really take advantage of their blown coverage. So, well, I'm excited about this defense. Like I'm telling you right now, I wish I could just go to sleep and hibernate for the next like 19 days and just wake up on September 7th and be ready for football, because this defense has been criticized. It's been dragged through the mud. It's been questioned ever since the end of the season last year with all the moves, the changes, the draft, some free agency stuff. Brad Holmes not making a splashy trade, all that. I feel like the defense been getting hit hard. So for Jared Goff to come out and give them some praise makes me a little bit more confident. How do you feel?
I feel good, man. And Coach Shep and Coach Morton have been tossing around a little acronym. We'll call it RCE. RCE, recognize, communicate, and execute. That's what it is. We got to recognize, we got to communicate, get ourselves in the right alignment, make sure we know our assignments, and then we got to execute. The defenses and offenses do a lot of things in the NFL. They're motioning, they're shifting, they're obviously checking at the line of scrimmage. It's a chess game going on out there. If you're not communicating and keeping up, you're going to get left behind. So I'm excited for both of these guys. Tim 21 put some stuff out a little bit earlier. He's talking about just the versatility of the secondary. He mentioned a couple of guys. I got him right here: Brian Branch, Amik Robertson, Rock Ya-Sin, Avonte Maddox, and Eric Hallett. All guys who can play corner or safety. Positional versatility is something that just shows up across this roster everywhere. Guys that can play defensive tackle and defensive end, guys that can play all over that linebacker room. It is just receivers that can play slot, they can play outside. Even things being mentioned about some of our bigger receivers, maybe even being able to bump down the tight end in certain situations. Running backs that can also play corner and safety, and it is just a interesting, versatile group. Malcolm Rodriguez playing offense and defense. Steve, we draft football. We don't draft players that have only one place for positional value. I love it. I think it's going to help us out immensely going into the season. Who's your favorite? I'm not going to say multi-position player or multi-side player. Who's your favorite out of those?
Out of the defensive backs?
It can be defensive backs. It can be offense because Sione Vaki is a guy who jumps in that picture too. Who's your favorite that can play multi positions or multi sides of the football, either or?
There's only one right answer, Will, and I'm saying this with a whole heart and knowing that there's no way you could call me nuts, but it's number 32, Brian Branch. He's the most versatile player on the team. Safety, corner, nickel, punt returner. I wouldn't be shocked if if we had to, he maybe plays a little offense. Well, I don't know. I don't want to see that, but I'm not saying it's not something he could do. I think there's a ton of guys that you could mention, but who I think is the best, that's without a doubt Brian Branch, William. He's the best. I think he's after Aiden Hutchinson. I think he's the most important player on that defense.
Steve,
don't call me nut. You don't even start with me today.
Are you out of your mind? We're not going to talk about the most versatile weapon on this team.
Dan Skipper.
Yeah. Dan Skipper, the offensive weapon. I don't know. Is he a tackle? Is he a tight end? I don't know what this guy is. Is he a receiver? What he is a mismatch, Steve. That's what he is. Dan Skipper. Please love Brian Branch. You guys know my dog is named after Brian Branch. Quietly. They didn't know what they were getting themselves into. But my dog's named after Brian Branch. I love him. He's got a special place in my heart. But Dan Skipper is just a mismatch. I wouldn't be surprised if he lines up at slot this year and he's
please stop
head tapping people. He's on You Got Moss. Hey, listen, you heard it from Will. Problem. Dan Skipper's a problem. Coach, get him the ball. Coach Morton, you know what I'm talking about. Sorry.
All right. While we're on the Skipper comment, it reminds me of something I was going to ask at the end of the show, but since we're here, someone in our Facebook group asked a good question. I think it's kind of fun. From Ricky Nicely, our Facebook group. He's been commenting and posting a lot of stuff. Appreciate that. Join our Facebook group. It's public. Detroit Done 313. Name a present Lions player that you believe will be a great coach someday if they want to go that route. He said Craig Reynolds. The person I thought of was Dan Skipper. All right, that was my guy. I said I think Dan Skipper eventually, if he wants to get into coaching, he'd be phenomenal. Why? He reminds me of Dan Campbell. He's not the most athletic. He's not the most gifted player, but he's going to show up every day and put the work in. He's one of those guys where he has his role on the team. He accepts it. It's very important. I think he's a fan favorite. Whenever they call in number Dan Skipper is reporting eligible, the whole crowd cheers and they stand up and they do the symbol. Like I feel like Dan Skipper would be my guy, Will. But while we're on the topic, who do you think on this roster would be a great head coach one day?
This is the easiest question that you've ever asked me in our whole history of podcasting. The answer is going to be, before I answer your question, I'm going to say this. There's a middle school coaching staff that is out just ruining middle school teams across the country. I don't know if you know about them, but Greg Olson, Jonathan Stewart, and Luke Kinkley are coaching middle school football. It's an absolute problem. I don't know how the world allowed this to happen, but
They must have some NIL rules or something going on.
They are a problem as a staff. But anyway, can you imagine looking across the sideline and you see these guys coaching middle school for some 7th graders or 8th graders? They're coaching that. I can't even imagine. And their kids play on it. Problems. But that immediately leads me to this. The answer is Jack Campbell, because what I envision of Jack Campbell is him being loaded with money, not caring about anything but his old beat up truck and his farm and football, and him getting a group of his buddies going back to the hometown. Couple of guys, maybe, who knows? It could end up being maybe him and freaking Alex Anzalone and Derek Barnes and Grant Stewart's kid or something. They go to some town and they start coaching football from little league all the way up through high school football. It would be an absolute problem. So Jack Campbell, I could see just going back, not a lot of people knowing what's going on until you show up and look across the sideline and you see Jack Campbell walking out with his monster of a son and a couple of his buddies ready to crack your helmet. Jack Campbell would be my pick.
Cedar Falls, Iowa is about to start a dynasty in high school, maybe even college. Maybe he takes over at the University of Iowa one day. I don't know. Not a bad idea. Just, it's about opinions. I say Dan Skipper, Jack Campbell, not as good of a sexy pick as mine, but, to each their own. But, Will, in some other news, some more serious news, we got a guy back today. A guy back that I wasn't expecting today or even in the next couple weeks. Mekhi Wingo, activated from the PUP, practicing today. How big of a deal is this?
Steve, we had an absolute heartbreaker the other day in the preseason game, and Ahmed Hassanin getting banged up. Heartbreaker. You said you don't want to call him a fan favorite. Yeah, I'm going to call him a fan favorite. Like, listen,
he's on the right path.
If a guy that will die for my team, the guy was telling my coach, hey, listen, thank you, I love you, I will die. Hey, listen, you're a fan favorite in my heart. I don't know what Steve's got going on, guys, but listen, Ahmed, you're a fan favorite in my heart. We talked about that, and would it be a problem? We replaced him with someone who is a little bit ahead of where he was at in that current moment. So, and we got that person back early in Mekhi Wingo. Steve, you were super high on Mekhi Wingo. I'm going to give you your flowers right out of the gate. Him getting drafted, you were super high on him. And then as he went through camp and he was making plays, you were loving him. I'm excited to see what he can do. He's exactly one of those versatile guys that we talked about. He's one of those versatile guys you talked about in defensive tackle or defensive end. I think while Hassanin has some time to heal and then come back, it's the perfect piece so we don't have to go out and do anything in free agency to get back right at that time. Do you agree? How you feeling about Hassanin and Mekhi Wingo kind of comps, and obviously Wingo coming back?
At the very least, can we call it a wash? Like, I feel like obviously we weren't expecting a player to get hurt, and I personally wasn't expecting a player to return. So let's just call it a wash. Yeah, I was very high on Mekhi last year, and I did I can't remember if you were there, if I did a solo on it. And boy, I got dragged through the absolute mud, Will, when I even mentioned him in the same breath as Aaron Donald, because I pulled up his combine stuff and I'm just looking at some height, some weight, arm length. A lot of stuff was similar. I by no means think he's going to be Aaron Donald, but boy, do I hope I'm wrong about that. I just want him to be an impact player. All right. I know he's going to be taking it easy for the first couple weeks, getting his legs under him, getting back in real football shape. I'm sure he's been, doing his PT and his therapy and whatnot. But he did an interview earlier, right when he came off the practice field today, and said that he was anticipating being back by the start of training camp. But he had surgery in December, but they had to go back in and clean out some other stuff. So that was the reason for the delay. But I'm glad he's back. And again, we just lost a defensive tackle. We lost Levi Onwuzurike at the beginning of the year. So it's nice to get some positive injury news. I really hope we get something really soon on Lee McNeil, because I know I just feel like something's coming, because I know he's past the PT stage, and I feel like he's doing some working out behind the scenes with no cameras around and keeping things kind of close to the vest. So, and I think even Dan had said something that, it maybe we get a little lucky and he comes back a couple weeks before Thanksgiving, which would really help out. So losing Ahmed, again, who doesn't need surgery. We still haven't heard the full details of his pec injury, just that it doesn't require surgery. So maybe that's a little something that, might help us out going forward too, Will.
Yeah, and if he doesn't need surgery, maybe he'll be back this season. I don't want to rush him at all because we want him for the long term. But again, prayers up, heal fast, and looking forward to seeing him.
Yeah. So obviously, training camp practice just wrapped up today. Rainy day. Dan had the boys out there, practicing some outdoor elements. Last year we were kind of blessed where we didn't have to play. What did we have, like 2 outdoor games last year? San Francisco and Green Bay and Lambeau. I think that was it. So three outdoor games. It's good to get out in the elements where it's just been raining in the Southeast Michigan area all day today. So do you think that this is something, the Lions need to be prepared for? Because we play a juggernaut of a schedule and we're not getting as blessed as we are with a lot of indoor games other than us and maybe a couple other teams who play in a dome. But I know it's a heavy outdoor schedule this year.
Yeah, I don't. It matters.
I don't buy into it either, Will. I know where you're going.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't really buy into it because I just feel like Coach Campbell is one of the better coaches in the league, if not the best. I'm biased, so I don't want to just keep continuously saying that he's the best, but I think he's gonna have these guys prepared for anything: rain, shine, freezing weather, snow, whatever. He'll have the guys ready.
Yeah. So what else we got for today,
Steve? As I'm sitting here looking at Tim Twentyman's observations for the day, something stands out to me, Steve. Something stands out to me. Our boy, Michigan native, making another big play. Catch of the day. It's Tim Twentyman said, DJ Reed standing by for this catch. His mind was blown. His mind was blown. I can't wait till they put it out later. Maybe next podcast, if they put out the highlight from it, we'll post it. But Isaac TeSlaa making plays leading up into the season. I still stand on this. I do not want to see him in this last preseason game. I've seen enough. He just continues to just make huge plays. I think he's ahead of schedule, for lack of a better word. I really wasn't. I said what I said, and I gotta own it. When he got drafted, and we were talking about him pre-draft, I said, just a guy.
Disrespect.
Hey, guys, Will was wrong. Will was wrong. Now, I will say, I'm still standing on elite role player, but I mean elite of elite. And the only reason why I can say that is because can you really call the number 3 receiver like the guy? You know what I mean? But when it comes to these,
when the other two are J-Mo and St. Brown, yeah, I think.
Hey, Steve, when it comes to I keep going up, and I guess it's just going to keep rising. I went to 50-50 out of the gate, you and I. Then it was 60-40. Today, I'm going to say 70-30. When you're throwing up these 70-30 balls and he keeps bringing them down, what can you do, Steve? How are you feeling about Michigan native, Michigan pride, none other than the Isaac TeSlaa?
William, first of all, his name's Mayotron. I don't know if you forgot. Like I'm sitting here having to scramble through my notes trying to figure out who Isaac TeSlaa is because I don't know him by that name. He's Mayotron. That's the only name I will refer to him as. I'm at the point where I'm not even surprised anymore, Will. We're only in week 3, and I'm not surprised that I'm hearing his name making plays against one of our best corner. Like I truly am imagining him with the ones. The starting offense. We've only seen him with Kyle Allen and Hendon Hooker playing football, and I feel like he's been the talk of the town all preseason. Him and maybe a couple other guys. Hendon Hooker, maybe not in a good way, but still the talk of town. When I picture him on the offense, and you have your third corner going against him, who maybe for most teams your third corner is a bubble player who barely made the roster potentially, and that's the matchup: a 6'4" kid who runs a 4.4 and can catch contested jump balls or deep balls or work across the middle and has a little speed, catches 98% of the balls that hits his hands. And then on top of that, you got to try to defend Jameson Williams, St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Sam Laporta. Like, William, if he's the guy flying under the radar as a skill position player on this team, what do you think? Like 43.5 points a game we're going to score, or what do you think the number is going to be?
It might be 50 plus, Steve. We might be. I mean, what are we talking about? How do you stop us at that point? I don't know. We can run it. We can pass it. We can. I mean, we can do literally anything.
Yeah. Also trying to we're trying to skim through Tim Twentyman's article. It got published like as we were talking. So I don't know. It just seems like a wet, rainy day. Offense got their work in. I know we're preparing for the Houston Texans are coming to town. I believe we have a joint practice Thursday, just one joint practice this time. Walkthrough on Friday, game on Saturday. But I remember our very, very first podcast, our very first podcast, and something came to mind that we can finally kind of, sort of, in a way, talk about, and that is Aiden Hutchinson versus CJ Stroud, a rematch, kind of, in a way. I know it's practice, but we didn't get to see it last year when we played the Houston Texans down in Houston because Hutch was hurt. But this has been a matchup I've been waiting for 3 years since we started our podcasting, and it's finally here in a way. If anyone has some practice tickets that they want to give away to Steve and Will for Thursday, I will gladly take them off your hands because I have literally been waiting for this for a long time. Well, how do you feel about the rematch in a way?
Just wrap Aiden in bubble wrap. At this point, I don't even want him doing anything. Like, help him brush his teeth. Let's just get him a week one. I'm a nervous wreck, and it's not just him. It's everybody. I'm just trying to get to the regular season as healthy as possible. So while I would love to get on here and read some cool things about how he was just ruining practice, I would also be okay with Coach Campbell said, "Hey, listen, let's get you ice and stem. Let's rest that body and let's get it ready for week one." So I guess that's nervous Nelly. It would be the answer, Steve. I really don't. I'm not worried about anything else but week one at this point. Just bring me Lambeau Field, Green Bay Packers. The rest is just kind of up in the air.
I'm excited, Will. I don't get overly excited about practice stuff, but Aiden Hutchinson, CJ Stroud, last time they were on a field together was when Michigan got the monkey off their back and finally beat Ohio State for the first time in like 100 years. And he was obviously a massive part of it. 3 sacks that game, set the Michigan single season sack record that game. At home in the snow, phenomenal moment. One of my greatest moments as a Michigan Wolverines fan. So I'm excited to see that again. I know it's just practice. I know CJ won't actually get hit. He'll probably have a red jersey on, but I'm still excited. It just kind of gets my memory going, Will, and I'm ready for some football to get here. Cold, wet, rainy day today. Not cold, but for summer it's kind of cold. So this is football weather. Football's on our mind. You got anything else for today?
Last thing for me is Sione Vaki. I feel like he's got this. I don't think that he's on the bubble. I don't think that, but we got some running backs in there that deserve respect. Craig Reynolds obviously deserves respect. Jacob Sailors is making this thing hard on Brad Holmes. Period. He's playing some doggone good football. So Sione Vaki coming out after being banged up for most of training camp, making some big plays, said he had a big run today, also had a touchdown in the situational period, just had a good overall practice. Love to hear that for him because I need to see him do some positive things this season. I need to see him out there, maybe a fake punt or two, maybe, causing some fumbles or some havoc on punt and special teams in general. I want to see him do some big things and be impactful for the Detroit Lions this year. So hats off to him for having a good day today.
Maybe he plays a little fullback until Rodrigo comes back. I know you mentioned that earlier. That's a possibility. I know we don't run a heavy fullback set, but it's not something that is impossible. I can't think of who's been playing fullback. He's just kind of coming in from time to time. No disrespect. But, yeah, that's what. So I could see Vaki taking that role and having a good day. I see his name on the list with Jahmyr Gibbs, obviously, David Montgomery, Craig Reynolds, and we like Jacob Sailors too. I thought he had a really good couple preseason games that have been cut short. So looking for him, he'll probably be a player I'm keeping my eye on because I feel like he's on the bubble. Vaki's definitely making this team, so I know if they're going to have to list him as a running back, so I don't think we're going to keep 5. So Jacob Sailors, make a case for Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes to do something difficult.
Yeah. Or earn you some money, man. Earn you a job somewhere else. Never cheering for you to be phenomenal and go play somewhere else. But you were not Honolulu Blue, man. I want to see you feed your family one way or another. If they don't got a spot for you, go rush for a bunch of yards, man, and go get you a check from one of these other teams.
Yeah, just don't go to the Bears. Fuck those guys. Anything else today, Will?
No, that's it, man. But I will piggyback that always.
Stick around, hit that like button. We'll be back later with another show.
Peace.